Hello, I'm Harold Scott, and today's lesson will be about hyperlinks on web pages. A hyperlink is commonly called a link. Links are the defining feature of the web that allow you to move or surf from one web page to another web page. So let's write some HTML code that creates a link on a web page. You'll open up Notepad on the PC or you'll open up TextEdit on the Macintosh. Right now, just watch what I do and I'll let you code after I get done with my example. So we're going to start by opening up with an opening bracket. We'll put an anchor element there. This says create a link. Then we'll add an href attribute. Href is short for hypertext reference. This is going to let us know the address that the link will go to once it's clicked. HTTPS means it's a secure server. Sometimes you'll see HTTP, that's a regular web server. If you see HTTPS, that's a secure web server. I made a mistake there. You don't want to mix your case. You want to work in lowercase if possible. So after you put that on there, you'll close the first link tag and you'll put in your link text. Then you'll put your closing tag, a closing anchor element. So let's go through and break down what everything does in a rational fashion. So, A, that's your anchor element. The anchor element says we're creating a link. Next, you have your href attribute. This means it's a hypertext reference and it's going to go to this web address once the link text has been clicked. Note that you need to put quotation marks there and there when creating this attribute. Down at the very end is going to be your closing anchor element. It's really important that you put a closing anchor tag in after you put your link text in. If you don't put that closing anchor tag in, every piece of text after you open or begin that link with your href will be a live clickable piece of link text. So if you want to just click on one thing that says Big Bend, make sure you put your closing anchor tag in there. And this part is your link text. This is what your users will see on the web page in the web browser. They will be able to click on this and it will take them to the www.visitbigbend.com website. So that is how you create a link in HTML code. So question is, can somebody tell me the difference between the href attribute and the Big Bend link text? Yeah, that's a good answer. The difference is the href attribute tells the link where to go, to which web address. The Big Bend link text is just something that's visual and clickable in the web browser that the user gets to trigger the link to go to another web page or another file.
Let's create some HTML code on our computers that will put a link on a web page. You'll need to have downloaded the links folder from our online classroom. Inside the links folder, you will find alpine.html, a web page, and a folder called images that we'll be using on this exercise. Make sure you have that on your computer before we begin. We'll need two applications. We'll need a text editor to write our HTML. I'm using TextEdit on the Mac. And we'll need a web browser to look at our web pages. So let's look at the basic web page that we'll be working with. This is just a structural HTML page. There's no presentation, no CSS added to this page at this time. It's just basic HTML. We have an H1 heading. We have an image. We have a couple of H2 headings, the Historic Times and Alpine Today, and we have some text. And we have a copyright notice in our footer. Notice there's no links on our page. So let's look at the HTML for this page. I'm going to my text editor. I'm going to open my alpine.html file. You'll see a pretty basic page. You have the H1 headings, you have the H2 headings, and you have a bunch of text, and we have our copyright at the bottom. So I want to put our link right after where it says growth of the town. That's going to show up right here after the second paragraph on our web page. So let's code that HTML for the link. I'm going to go into our text editor. I'm going to do an open bracket. I'm going to do an A anchor element to state that we're creating a link. I'm going to create the Href attribute that says where the web page should go once you click on the link text. And we're going to go to the https://www.visitbigbend.com website. Put your closing quotes, closing bracket. Now add the link text. This is what the user will see in the browser, so I'm just going to put Big Ben there. Then I'm going to put my closing anchor element. If I did not put this closing anchor element, the rest of the text past the Big Bend link text would also be an active link. You don't want the rest of this text to become a link, so remember to put your closing anchor element. I'm going to save the page and let's look at it. Go back to our web browser. I'm going to click in the address bar and hit return to update the page. And notice we now have the Big Ben link. It's underlined, and once you click on it, we now arrive at the Visit Big Ben website. So that's how you create a link in HTML code. Our next lesson in the videos will be types of links. We'll look at a text link, and we'll also look at an image-based link. So that's the next video.